The United States is the next emerging market. When BRIC nations were first prominently used in a Goldman Sachs report in 2003, these developing countries soon took over the center stage of the world's economy. The term emerging markets started getting more popular than ever. Steering business towards the emerging markets becomes a critical issue among Western countries. However, the famous investment visionary Antoine van Uchtmael, who coined the term emerging markets and helped launch the first funds to invest in developing countries, thinks that he has spotted the next emerging market, the United States. Mr. van Uchtmael visited China last year. One manufacturing executive after another complained about American competition. That's something I had never heard in 40 years in Asia, he says. Labor costs in China have been rising roughly 15% annually, while stagnating in the U.S. Meanwhile, oceans of cheap oil and natural gas are flowing from American shale. The U.S. is well ahead of China in mobile communication infrastructure. Also, it is advancing faster in three-dimensional printing and the use of robots in factories. Currently, at least 200 companies have relocated plants from offshore to U.S. locations. Some of these emerging advantages haven't shown up in higher profits for American companies. A decade ago, 9 out of 10 companies would tell you that they were thinking about building their next plant in China, he says. Today, it's more like 3 or maybe 5 out of 10 will say that they want to build plants in the U.S. U.S. manufacturing is becoming more competitive than you would think, and China is becoming less. And the idea that manufacturing is old-fashioned is itself old-fashioned. These ideas aren't a secret, of course. Stock market bulls have been snorting over shale gas and 3D printing industries for a couple of years now. Nonetheless, Mr. van Uchtmael thinks the investors have underestimated the rate and importance of these changes. When Mr. van Uchtmael first started talking about emerging markets 30 years ago, people knew it made sense, but they didn't quite believe in it. Similarly, people currently get the message at one level, but they haven't yet rationally absorbed it. Their investment behavior hasn't changed either. He thinks Americans should have invested up to 25% of their equity exposure in emerging market stocks, which are well above the fund investments that offer 6% average in rate of return. Mr. van Uchtmael says, "Why has everyone been surprised by how well the U.S. stock market has performed lately? Because they're only beginning to realize the glass is half full instead of half empty. The U.S. is coming back."